Whew. Hello out there. We're on the air. Are we ever? Got our co-host today too. Arnie's in the house. Good morning, Arn. Big shout out to whoever the heck sent 10,000 sats yesterday to Arnie's wallet. That was a nice surprise. I didn't have this on me yesterday, so I didn't see that. I saw there's a couple ones that came in that I didn't acknowledge. So big one, 10,000. That's a fat zap, I would say, if I've ever seen a fat zap. Am I live? Okay, good. 10,000 sats yesterday. We had an 88 sat one. We get Phil R. getting lightning sussed. I don't know if that was supposed to be getting lightning struck or lightning set up. I don't know. And we had 188 sats and 880 sats. And it was from somebody who said, as Andreas once said, no one fully understands / masters Bitcoin. There's only ones who don't understand it, are super wealthy, or intellectually dishonest or ignorant. I think there were some spelling issues in that one, and I'm not going to try to redo it. But anyways, thank you for the zaps yesterday. That was very kind of everybody here. I'm still kind of just like half asleep right now, so wake me up here a little bit. Wake me up when it's all over. Okay. Anyways, welcome back to another episode here of the Daily Bitcoin Journey. This show is actionable. That's a big one. Actionable and logical discussion for Bitcoiners and for future Bitcoiners. And there are a lot of Bitcoiners. They're growing. We're multiplying like gremlins. And there's a lot of future Bitcoiners out there who don't know that they're future Bitcoiners yet. But they might come across this video one day and they can learn some stuff as well. So that was the first piece of housekeeping, was the thank yous for the zaps. Let me make sure the zap stream's running, actually, on that note. I will say, I don't know, what is it today? The 14th of January? All right, we got some people over in Zapstream. We got Letha. We got Sunshine. And a few others. So if you're in Zapstream, say hi. If you're on Rumble, say hi. I'm doing everything in my power to not just skip Rumble every morning, because it's a little bit harder to set up. It's not as clean as YouTube and Zapstream. But again, I'm going to be persistent with it. Rumble's getting into Bitcoin, so I'm getting into Rumble. That's how it works. What else do we have going on today? Hello, Zapstream, Rumble, thank yous. I don't know. Let's get to some chats. I'll think of some other stuff I had. Big one yesterday. We had, I was on Rajat's channel. Had a call right after the show, actually, yesterday. And we kind of brainstormed for about half an hour, 45 minutes. And then we filmed a video. So I thought it was a pretty good video. Looks like it's getting a lot of traction on YouTube. We actually want to make, bye, Arnie. See you, Arnie. Oh, he's back. Works every time. Did a show on Rajat's channel. So we're actually going to be doing one show per week, I think, going forward. And we're going to try to make them like timeless. We're not going to cover any news or like anything that's going to be irrelevant in a year or two from now. We want to make like timeless Bitcoin videos and do like a series on it. So that was the first one yesterday. You can check it out. We were talking about Bitcoin storage. And that's kind of what we're going to be talking about today a little bit. The title of today's show is called Prepare Yourself to Be Wealthy. And that's what we're going to be talking about. Plus, yes, we're going to be doing that, hopefully. I got to double check that. But I think we're going to be doing a second part of the show today. How am I going to do that, though? How the hell am I going to do that? Okay, I got to think on that. I wanted to. Maybe we'll do it strictly on Zap stream today. That'd be kind of fun. I just don't want it on YouTube. We're going to talk about some stuff I don't like talking about on YouTube. So we'll see. We'll make it up as we go here. That's what we usually do anyways. Good morning, Jay. Great title. Yes, it's going to be a good show today. Timber Crasher, good morning, my friend. We got Phil. Today, mostly we'll be talking about Bitcoin. Yeah, mostly. We'll see. I got a new segment too. Let me tell you guys about my new segment after we get through a few chats here. You guys are going to enjoy it, I think. Oh, and I don't think anybody's commented on the orange hoodie yet today, which is, I only wear the orange hoodie when I feel like there's something big going to happen, something good in Bitcoin. So I had that feeling today. Killer, good morning. Finally joined Nostr. That a boy. I zapped you last night, I think. I zapped you on Nostr. So a couple things I would say to that. If you are somebody who's just joined Nostr, I want to support that. So shoot me an email with your npub. I'll follow you on there, and I will send you a little zap too. And if you need any help, I can do my best to help you. So that's my offer to you. I do too many offers on here, I think. It takes up a lot of my time, but I like doing it. So if you're somewhat new to Nostr or I'm not following you on Nostr, make sure you shoot me an email, 88sats@proton.me. Send me your npub, and I'll follow you on there, and I'll send you a little zap. That's my offer for anybody watching the show today. I actually got about 200 or 250 new followers on Nostr last night because American Hodl shared one of my things or shared my name in something. I don't know. But anyways, Nostr's buzzing. Best decision I ever made besides Bitcoin was, in investing world anyways, or work life, was joining Nostr. Clean your machine. Man, that just flows off the tongue so nicely. Clean your machine. Inc. official, the official channel here we got. Tom, good morning. Cheers, my friend. Separate X says we sum up Bitcoin in one formula. Bitcoin equals gold plus USD, medium of exchange plus store of value. Yes. That's a great way to put it. Plus a million other things. And that's what makes Bitcoin so special. Plus tech, freedom tech, which is a big one. And plus scarcity, I guess that's a store of value part. Plus immutability, which is a whole nother aspect of it. Plus historical goes in with the immutability aspect of it. It's pretty big. In case you haven't noticed yet, this thing's pretty big. It's going to make a pretty big dent in the world here, folks. So it's pretty cool that we can be here right now. Let's just say that. Good morning, Kyle. Where did I see Kyle? Oh, I saw Kyle in Rajat's comments yesterday. Make sure that's the one thing I'd say, because it's very easy to just watch videos on the internet and watch shows and really never tell anybody that you're watching it or telling the person who's on the video that you're enjoying it. So make sure if you got some time today, check out Rajat and I's show that we did yesterday, and just say more of this, please, or anything that gives us a positive feedback loop. In terms of the content stuff in Bitcoin, be appreciated. But Kyle did. Kyle was already there, and I saw a lot of familiar faces in the comments there yesterday. Ian, good morning, my friend. Great to see you. Yo, yo, yo. All right, let me get Arnie's wallet open up here. Okay, so, well, slow start to the day in Zapland, that's for sure. But I have no doubt you guys will ramp it up here. Tuesdays are always slow. Monday, Tuesdays are the worst for Zaps. Speaking of that, Daniel shows up at the perfect time. 88 sats. Good morning, Letha and Sunshine. Thank you, Daniel, for busting the cherry here. The day's cherry. Separate X says, I saw someone comparing Berkshire Hathaway with Bitcoin just because their stock is oh my God. Yeah, I mean, what would you say that they're similar? What's similar with Berkshire Hathaway? Number one, it's expensive to get a full share, I guess. I don't even know if you can fractionalize those shares. So yes, expensive and scarce. They don't. I don't know the last time Berkshire Hathaway actually issued new shares. So, I mean, they do share some similarities. I don't think we can really count both those out. But at the same time, completely different. Completely different. Lori, good morning. Good to see you. Coffee and some sunshine. Love that. There was I don't know if it was the last couple weeks, I think, like the couple days and week after the Christmas break. I don't know what it was, but I was just like in a funk. Like I love doing these shows every morning. And there was a couple mornings where I was like, oh man, I had a hard time getting out of bed. And I'm pretty sure now, looking back on that, I was hoping that wasn't going to be the new normal for me. And thank God it's not. I had a really, really good morning today. But after the break, I think it was just too much like bad food and drink. And it's just like amazing what that does to the body. It's like it's bad. I mean, I didn't have a whole lot to drink. It was fairly consistently though every day because we were going somewhere every day. So I'd have a couple beers and so much sugar, so much bad food. I just felt like absolute dog shit. So it's good to be back. Let me say that. If you ever need a good pick me up in the morning, just I have a cold shower every morning. I have a cold shower literally every morning, and usually it works pretty well. But plus, if you mix in some like AC/DC or Avicii, Kid Rock, those are kind of my three morning tunes: Avicii, Kid Rock, and AC/DC. That gets the blood flowing. All right, we got some zaps coming in here now. We got Plunger zap 210 sats. We got Scotty V zap 21 sats. Scotty V, nice to see that. That's a new face in the zap stream. And Letha zapped 121 sats. Big shout out to Letha, by the way. I haven't brought it up on here, but she zapped 42,000 sats to the Bitcoin Amigos on Friday. 42,000 sats. She's getting up there with the ranks of our friend BitBilly. That was the fattest zap on Bitcoin Amigos, 42,000 to Letha. But the current record on this show is 102,000 sats from BitBilly. I don't know if BitBilly's watching today, but that's the record for the show. And we got another one here. Thanks for the daily show, 400 sats from Timber Crasher. And somebody said 21 sats, give a dog a bone. Oh, man, that's good stuff. All right, AV, good morning. Ginger, good morning. I think I have a meeting today with Ginger. Pretty sure. Ginger and I have been making some good progress. We had a slow start, but we got her dialed in now. Letha says trying to compete with BitBilly. Oh, man, that's good stuff. Thank you, Letha. And Scotty V zapped 69 sats, meant to zap more, LOL. Thank you. Hey, Paul says, good morning. Still waiting for somebody to convince me to turf my TFSA full of equities. Well, keep watching this show, my friend. Oh, I watched such a good video this morning. It was about 8 minutes long. I was going to share it on the show today. And it was talking about equities. And it was talking about how, the stock market, how they lend out your shares to like 3 or 4 or more people. This was in like 2014 too, this video, or 2017 maybe. So I love like the TFSA aspect of things. I love the ability to shelter Bitcoin gains in a tax-free way. But like, I just hate the stock market. I hate that there's like, you don't own the shares. How many people, like, let's just stop here for a sec. Let's say MicroStrategy has, when I started buying MicroStrategy, I'm pretty sure they had 17 million shares. And I'm pretty sure they're up to like 250 million or more now since I started buying. But the point is like, if you actually had a list of 250 million shares, how many people do you think actually think that they own those shares versus how many shares there are? Like it's very easy to log into account. It's very similar to like buying Bitcoin on an exchange to me. It's like, yeah, it says you have the Bitcoin. It shows your dollar amount. It's on a nice fancy platform. But I don't get the share certificate in the mail or anything like that. I don't have it in my house. I don't think it's a 1-to-1 ratio of like 250 million MicroStrategy shares versus 250 million owners of those shares. Like the whole Wall Street, the whole stock market is just a complete rigged system. Completely. And I don't think we need to watch that 12-minute video to understand that. And I just want to make everybody aware of that when you're thinking about like whether you should be holding equities or Bitcoin. Like there is no second best to Bitcoin, to actually taking self-custody, to being able to verify that you have ownership of the Bitcoin and nobody else is lending against it. Nobody else thinks that they own that Bitcoin. That's a big deal. That's a huge deal. So I'm not telling you to sell everything because I still have money in the traditional system. I'm just like thinking ahead here a little bit of like, do I really want to, even though the gains are going up, my account balance is going up, do I really want to risk having somebody else owning my assets, third-party risk there? That's kind of what Bitcoin was designed to get rid of. So it's tough. I do foresee a day where there'll be like a one-to-one ownership of shares where they'll actually like be in your phone and you can actually take self-custody of those shares. But we're not there yet. That's kind of my, I don't know. That's my thoughts on it, Paul. And you can take it or leave it. As we're going to be talking about here soon with my new segment. All right, we have, hold on, let me get this open here, make sure I don't miss any zaps. Aren't zaps the best? Oh, we got Spaceman. Spaceman zap 420 sats. Thank you, Spaceman. Appreciate that, my friend. Separate X says, do you think Wall Street has come into Bitcoin? The Bitcoin should have also been rising with inflation going high, but I feel it's not the case anymore. What do you think? Do you think because Wall Street has came into Bitcoin? Yeah, I do, honestly. I think that there's some manipulation there between the futures, the options, the ETFs, the Coinbases, the paper Bitcoin. There's definitely also more Bitcoin that people own than Bitcoin exists. 100%. That's why I think it's so important that you actually take your Bitcoin, you take it in self-custody, you protect those keys, and nobody's going to loan out your Bitcoin if it's in your self-custody. That's for sure. And I think the more people we can get into self-custody holding their own Bitcoin, the less bullshit that will go on. Just by nature, by simple objective math. The more people that take their Bitcoin into self-custody, the less manipulation will be possible. So, but at the same time, I still feel like the Bitcoin's going to run up so high that they'll be able to just keep making paper Bitcoin because it'll be almost impossible to track everything. So good and bad news. But anyways, the point of that is that everybody should be absolutely making progress and actionable steps to taking your own Bitcoin off the exchanges into your own hands. And here's another one on that note, on the note of self-custody. And I talked about this on Rajat's episode yesterday. But I said, like, if you're somebody who's brand new to Bitcoin, brand new, know nothing about it, don't know what a wallet is, don't know what a private key is, don't know how to receive or send Bitcoin. If you know nothing, but you want to buy some Bitcoin, I have zero issue with you just leaving that on the exchange if you can. Like I use a service called Bitcoin Well, where they don't actually allow me to store Bitcoin on there, which I love as a Bitcoiner. But for new people, I have zero issue with somebody leaving on their Bitcoin on an exchange until they figure out what they're doing. I would bet my entire Bitcoin stack that more people lose Bitcoin by trying to do things too fast, creating a wallet. They don't know what they're doing, sending it to the wrong wallet, not setting a high enough transaction fee, losing their private key, losing their phone. I guarantee you way more people lose their Bitcoin that way versus an exchange going down. So yes, 100%. Again, as I've been saying, everybody should be, the end goal is to absolutely get your Bitcoin off the exchanges, but you have to be at a sufficient knowledge level before you can do that safely, honestly. So there's a bunch of people, I shouldn't say a bunch, but there are some people in the comments like, that's horrible advice. I've never heard anybody say, keep your Bitcoin on the exchange. And it's like, Bitcoiners just assume that everybody's where they are in terms of like knowledge. They assume that everybody has the same knowledge as them. I don't know what the word for that is, but it's not the case. And it's okay to leave your Bitcoin on an exchange for a couple months while you get your shit together before you send it to yourself and have that responsibility. Like, is there a chance the exchange goes down? Absolutely. But there's a much higher chance that you screw something up. So anyways, I didn't mean to go on a rant there, but Phil says sust is slang English for worked out. Gotcha. And Phil also sent a zap saying that. Sus is UK slang for worked it out. So that means he got the zaps figured out. Gotcha. Thank you, Phil. Hey, speaking of BitBilly, says, yo, good morning, you wonderful people. Good morning, BitBilly. I don't know if you're still here or not, but we've been, maybe your ears were burning. Okay, we got Wood Butcher over in the chat too. Says play around with small amounts until you feel comfortable. Yes, that's great advice. Whether that's sending Bitcoin, whether that's sending Lightning payments, always make sure that you're just starting with very small amounts. Never ever make your first transaction with all your Bitcoin ever. Just doesn't make any sense. But the reason why shows like this exist, I'm hoping anyways, is to save some of the trouble that I went through when I was first getting into Bitcoin, including some lost. I don't know if I've lost any. I have lost Bitcoin. I've put it into wallets and then I either lost the key or the wallets just stopped working. So that's something you got to be aware of. Just because we are here so early in Bitcoin, is that the tech hasn't really been fully built out yet. There's a lot of holes in it, and I think it was about. Well, I lost 30,000 on a walled of Satoshi, 30,000 sats, walled of Satoshi, because my phone updated and I locked myself out of the wallet. So I'll never get those sats back. And a couple different eCash wallets I've lost about 25,000 sats in. Don't know why. I've been back and forth with mini bits for like 3 months, 4 months trying to get it's only like 25,000 sats, but at the same time, like it's 25,000 sats. So I hate just losing Bitcoin. So anyways, too much talking here. Although I guess that's kind of my job, is to talk on here. So shout out to Rumble. We got 8 people watching over on Rumble today. If you're watching on Rumble, let me leave a comment over there. Say hello. Say, hey, Joe, keep doing these on Rumble. Keep spending some of your precious time posting these on Rumble. Rick, more like smashing, please. Good call. Always a good call from Rick. Chad, Jets or Leafs? It's a good question. Jets for sure. If you knew how big of a Jets fan I was at one point in my life, I was a season ticket holder for the Jets, actually. I probably went between the Jets moving to Winnipeg and about 2021. So that's probably like 9 years. I never missed one game. Never missed one game. I'd record it. Again, this was kind of when I was going through school and university and college. But I would go out to the bar, to the club, and I would come back at like 2 a.m, watch the game. It'd be on fast forward. I could skip the intermissions and the commercials and stuff. But I never missed one game probably in 9 years. And then all of a sudden they told me that I needed to put something into my body. I needed to have some sort of passport or papers before I could enter the arena. And so needless to say, I am no longer a ticket holder and haven't watched a game since then. So Jets or Leafs, I don't care. But Jets. Jake and Bake. I enjoyed that video you just did with Mr. Rajat. I'm a ledger guy myself, but I'm looking into multi-sig eventually to keep from losing my coins again. Losing my coin again. Gotcha. Yeah, so that's a nice thing. I mean, it's a good comment here from Jake, one of our Bitcoin Journeyman. And well, first of all, thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed that. There's going to be a lot more very similar videos to that in the future with Rajat and I. But the other thing I'd say is, like, if you are a ledger user or a Trezor user or anything, like, don't panic. You never need to be in a state of panic within Bitcoin. I mean, I shouldn't say never, but like for the most part, unless there's like an extreme situation. But for the most part, just like stay put, take a breath, figure out what the best play forward is. You can always use that ledger as a decoy wallet. You can always include that ledger in your multi-sig configuration. There's so many things you can do. It's just you need to be taking actionable steps every day to make your security setup better. That's it. And just be aware of the fact that it is always going to be evolving, and you need to be ready for that. So thanks for the comment there, Jake. Good morning, Dale, listening at 110 kilometers an hour down the #1 highway. How was the meetup last night, Dale? Let us know. Let us know. Jason, good morning. Long way to the top if you want to rock and roll. That's true. That is true. We're talking about AC/DC this morning. Oh, Ginger, sorry, Wednesday. Right. I thought it was Wednesday today, but it's Tuesday, in fact. Country Club Hillbilly, one of our favorite names here. Good morning. Looks like a little robot head. Anyone use Unchained? Ooh. So I kind of retracted this in my comments last night on Rajat's channel, but I do need to make a retraction because with Unchained, I made a false statement on Rajat's video. I said that there's a chance that they could rug you, but I was thinking of a different company. I don't know if it's CASA. I don't really want to say any names because I don't know for sure who it is, but there are some companies where the custodian holds one of your keys. They work with another custodian to hold one of your keys, and then you have the third key. So there is chance for collusion there. I don't think that that's how Unchained works. In fact, I know it's not. I mean, you could. I think you could hire like a lawyer, or you could leave it with your notary, your safety deposit box. So that is still a risk there. But Unchained only keeps one of 3 keys. So that was my mistake. I was thinking of a different company. But I do want to kind of touch on this quickly because this is an important thing. I think that a lot of Bitcoiners who are watching the show will probably be looking into in the future. Is this some sort of collaborative custody model for security and for inheritance stuff? And so basically what happens with Unchained is you keep one of your keys at your house, one key, one of your trusted family members, that could be your parents, your family, your brother, whoever, your lawyer, they keep one of the keys, and then Unchained keeps one of the keys. So if you lose a key, your Unchained and your lawyer, let's say, could unlock your Bitcoin for you. If your lawyer loses the key, which hopefully they wouldn't, but you and Unchained could work together to unlock your Bitcoin. So that's kind of the purpose of multi-sig. That's kind of the purpose of like a collaborative custody. And they have all of your information there. So if something were to happen to you, then your Bitcoin would be essentially taken care of. So they're a great service. I think they've helped a lot of people with their Bitcoin. And I'm not going to say anything bad about them, but people should be aware of like the risks there, or the cons, I would say. So the cons of something like that is that they know all of your information. It's full KYC. They know your name, where you live, your phone number, everything, your social security number. It's fully KYC'd. Second part is that they know your Bitcoin balance. Whatever key they're holding the Bitcoin to, they know how much Bitcoin you have. Every time you move Bitcoin, they know about it. So it's very, I wouldn't say intrusive, but like there's a lot there. They know a lot of things about you. And so when they know a lot of things about you, that presents a risk or a liability to you. Because if the government all of a sudden turns unfriendly for Bitcoin, they subpoena a company like Unchained, they get your information, they get a key to your Bitcoin. Who knows what could happen with that? Plus, they're pretty expensive. So they're a good option. They would make sure that, if something were to happen to you tomorrow, your Bitcoin would be okay. And it's pretty hard to lose, I think, with a collaborative custody model like that. So good things. But if we're comparing that to super-backed security and inheritance protocol that we're working on now, with super-backed, a couple things here that are key: 0 KYC. We don't need to know your name. We don't need to know your phone number. We don't need to know your address. We don't need to know anything about you. So no KYC at all. Second part there is that we have no idea how much Bitcoin you have. All of the information in the text box, in your secret box, is all on you. We know nothing. We have no idea what's in there. We have no idea how much Bitcoin you have. So we don't know who you are, and we don't know how much Bitcoin you have. And we're significantly less expensive than an Unchained. Plus, built within the super-backed security inheritance protocol is a whole document of inheritance stuff, step by step, what you need to do, where you need to leave this, who you need to leave this with, whole thing, inheritance protocol. So if something were to happen to you tomorrow, your Bitcoin would also be in good hands. And it wouldn't be us. We wouldn't be moving anything around. We don't have a key to it. We don't know how much Bitcoin's in there. We know nothing, but we would tell you exactly how to proceed. So I strongly suggest at least doing your homework into Unchained, understanding the benefits, the risks. And if you're looking for a better security and inheritance protocol built into the same thing, reach out. Contact. We're going to have a website probably soon. Hopefully I'm working on today. That's kind of my main goal for today is a website. So this is all still kind of under wraps. Everything's been word of mouth so far, but we've been very busy with it. And we've had several people now sign up for the super-backed service. So contact info below, 88sats@proton.me. Just shoot me an email saying, I want to learn more about super-backed. That's it. We'll set up a call, 0 risk, 0 pressure. We're not salespeople. We just want to help people with this stuff. Because if you're anything like me, I lay in bed or laid before discovering this, but laid in bed thinking about how I can best secure my Bitcoin and what are the risks of having it here? What are the risks of doing this way? How can I improve that? And to me, this security, super-backed security inheritance stuff is as close to bulletproof as you can get. So it's not for everybody, but it's going to be for a lot of Bitcoiners for sure. And I'm extremely excited that we can offer it to people. All right, we got some comments here in Zapstream. Let's talk about these. On-ramp, I think that's the one I was talking about. Sunshine uses Unchained. Scotty says, if your Bitcoin is already KYC, you wouldn't lose any privacy by moving to Unchained, correct? I signed up with Unchained, but want to be more careful before I move Bitcoin there. Yeah, I mean, it depends if your Bitcoin is already KYC, yes. I mean, you're telling somebody else about it. So, I mean, it's the same kind of thing. The more people who know you have Bitcoin, probably the worse you are, I think, in the grand scheme of things. So I think that's a good advice for anybody out there is never tell anybody how much Bitcoin you have and try to limit the amount of KYC touches you have, especially in something like that. Because again, if something were to, this is why the KYC stuff with your Unchained, if something were to happen to you tomorrow and Unchained holds one of the keys to that Bitcoin, I don't know what their inheritance protocol is, but I'm guessing you wouldn't have much of a choice of whether that goes through estate, probate. Part of the super-backed protocol is also setting up like a trust later in the process. So you don't have to worry about it going through the estate, probate, getting tied up in legal issues. Because if you don't do it properly, a lot of your information, and I didn't know this until I started working with Craig on this, but a lot of your information, if you don't set up your will properly in your probate, it goes to probate, and they make all that information public because it's in the courts. So that's a big risk that I don't think a lot of people know about. So that's what I would say on that. Yeah, if you're trying to stay off the grid, probably don't use Unchained. I don't know if it's even staying off the grid. It's just like preventing it from being tied up in the legal stuff. That's what I would say, more along the lines of. So again, Unchained is really good. I would say the main benefit to Unchained is it's easy, convenient, less responsibility. But with super-backed, it's more responsibility, more work, but a lot more sovereignty. That's the best way I could explain it. Duncan, Zap 420 sats. Thank you, Duncan. Thank you. All right, let's keep it rolling here. That was my spiel on Unchained and super-backed for the day. I'm so excited about super-backed. It is by far the most exciting thing in Bitcoin for me right now. Pump says, when to know that you're ready to live on a Bitcoin standard, like 90% of your net worth in Bitcoin. When do you know? I don't know. I don't think there's like a certain, sorry, my socks are all messed up here. I don't think there's a certain event or like a certain milestone or anything like that when you know you're ready. It's tough. It's not an easy thing. So just make sure that you have your shit together before you take that leap. I'm working on it myself. There's a lot of things to do, a lot of things to know, and I'm going to get there. And this part of, this show is documenting that journey of going from, full-fledged fiat to all-in Bitcoin. Should be my tagline here, maybe. Maverick, good morning. And we got Sergio. Good morning, bro. Good morning, brew. Sergio has been showing up here in the chat. Good to see. I'm sure he's got his feet kicked back. I love the pictures of Sergio on nostr with his feet up. Watching the daily Bitcoin journey. All right, Scotty B says, one more question here on SuperBacked. Is it super important? Oh, no, sorry. Yeah, is it super important to use a hardened computer with SuperBacked? Yes. Seems like you'd need to be able to take a computer apart and remove the hardware. Yes. Yep. It's exactly what happens. So the software program itself, you load onto like an old used laptop, you rip the hard drive out of it, you put in a special USB that can, I think, read only. Read only, I believe. So you take out the hard drive on an old laptop, you put in a USB, that's what the software runs on. You completely disconnect it from the internet. You put in your information, it never touches the internet again. You never have to update the software. It's literally air gapped. Like that's what air gapped is. Even when you're, plugging in a cold card into your laptop, not fully air gapped, but this the setup that we have for SuperBacked is fully air gapped. And again, you never have to worry about updating it. You keep it on paper, which lasts up to 100 years. That's the thing with a lot of these devices that most people are completely unaware of. Like the flash memory in these things go after, like they have about a 10-year lifespan. So we haven't really seen the full implications of people actually backing up their recovery phrase yet, because a lot of these devices are still working. But when you wake up one day and this thing doesn't turn on, you better know where your recovery phrase is. Again, because it takes about 10 years. So we're not really through this full cycle of that happening within Bitcoin, but it will. So we keep a copy ourselves. There's a copy available online. It's fully open sourced. You can get it from GitHub. You get a copy of it on a DVD. So you never have to like bring it back online or get it from online. It's I shouldn't say pretty. It's very well thought out. Very well thought out. It was, it's security and privacy experts who designed this thing. It was actually the person who designed the first hardware wallet is part of the creation of SuperBacked. So pretty cool. Pretty cool. Scotty B zapped 121 sats and said, thanks for the answers. Of course, again, if you have any questions, like everybody's in a different spot. But the nice thing about the SuperBacked again is that it's very flexible. So you could have a single sig, you could have a multi-sig, you could have like the most elaborate scheme on the planet, and SuperBacked would work for you. Or a very simple one that you want to make a little bit more elaborate, it allows for that too. So we basically, instead of pushing you into anything, we basically see where you're at, start there, and then over time we give you more tips and suggestions along the way to improve that. But if you just had a single sig, like you could definitely get set up on SuperBacked and make it a lot more secure than you have today. And then eventually move to like a multi-sig, multi-jurisdictional. There's lots of things involved there. Maverick says, what are your thoughts about rebalancing a portfolio? Taking out of your 401k to ensure X% allocation to Bitcoin, penalties and all. I mean, you're probably asking the wrong guy about penalties. When I figured out what Bitcoin was, I didn't care what the penalties were. I was like, get me my pension, get me my retirement fund. I want it out of this today. And I did. And I paid probably too much for it. But yeah, I mean, don't underestimate how big Bitcoin's going to be here. And if you got to pay some taxes and penalties along the way, that's the cost of doing business. Hey, Brett says, wish I could copy and boy, I hate to tell you, Brett, but you could actually post an image in Zapstream. But anyway, says, wish I could copy and paste an image into chat. S&P 500 returns when inflation adjusted are only 600% since 1967. I mean, the stock market, the housing market, they basically just keep up with inflation. If you actually objectively look at the data, yes, it's gone up. Yes, it's going up like 8% a year, 7% a year, but that's how much money has been printed for the last, if you average it out. The stock market, the housing market, they basically just keep up with inflation. So if you don't own stocks, if you don't own houses, you're losing because your life is getting 8 to 10% more expensive every month. And basically holding stocks and real estate just breaks even pretty much over time, over the average. So that's the truth with a little bit of cheese on it. Yeah, exactly. Captain Codeman says true inflation or official inflation compared to money supply, it's pretty flat. Correct. All right. This is good advice from STS TV. Says I prime my wallet with $1 first before sending big amounts. That's such good advice, especially if somebody's just kind of new into Bitcoin. That's such good advice. I don't really do that anymore. Now, I mean, I've sent a lot of transactions in Bitcoin, so I'm fairly comfortable with it. But that's great advice for people who are just like in the process of sending their first transaction or they're, a year into this thing. Just start small. Send a small amount. Send a test amount. Adam or Lori or both. Good morning. Sweating and smiling together. Captain Codeman says you can experiment and learn using the testnet. Yes, that is also correct. Except getting testnet coins nowadays are almost as hard as getting Bitcoin. I mean, they're free, but I feel like sats are almost more, they're easier to obtain, which is weird. Have you ever tried getting testnet coins? It's tough. I have some myself that I plan on using one day. I think that they're going to be like relics, honestly. I don't think they're going to have any value. But every chance I get some free testnet coins just because I'm a collector. It doesn't cost me anything to store them. And you never know. You never know what happens with Bitcoin, with testnet in 50 years from now. Plus, you could just use them for testing things out. Okay, BitBilly is here. Says, love the show. Learned so much from Jor and the people in this chat. Bitcoin, get that little pump going today. Are we going a little bit? Or we got a little buzz on? We buzzing? All right, what do we got here? Let me get, okay, that's good. Yeah, we're buzzing upwards for sure. Look at the 24-hour chart here. We dropped down to like in the 80s yesterday, and now we're up to 96,000. Again, if you give a shit about the price, then there's some info for you. Timu Solani, great man. Bitcoin generations. Bodhi had some issues posting the video we were talking about yesterday, so I'm going to get that posted today, hopefully. If Bodhi uploads it for me, I'll get that shared on the channel. We were talking about paying your employees with Bitcoin and getting Bitcoin if you're an employee. Somebody just sent in 329 sats, says, for your knowledge and support, Jor, I'll send a fat zap on Friday. Nice. Got a guest coming in on Friday, actually. Just met with him yesterday. So we're going to do a live show Friday morning. And he's on the other overseas. So it'll be an interesting interview, I think. Or not an interview, but a discussion. Mert says, good morning. Hi, Jor. Good morning. What a great day. Sell gold and buy Bitcoin. Truth. Duncan says, good morning, everyone. Yes, it was a great show with Rajat. More of that would be great. All right, we're working on it. I think it's, I told this to Rajat after too, but I think that it is important when you're talking about like security, privacy, like tools. I think it is important to have two people there, especially two people with like, Rajat's got a really large channel, but mine's like a decent sized one. you got two people there. It's almost like some sort of verification. If I say something stupid, he's going to catch me on it. If he says something stupid, I'm going to catch him on it. So to me, it just provides more verifiability. Is that a word? Yeah, it's more verifiable when there's two people there who kind of know what they're talking about. So that's something we're going to do a little bit more seriously going into the future. So with Rajat, with Bodhi, with the Bitcoin Amigos, this show, like it's hard to find any minutes of my day where I'm not talking about Bitcoin. All right, what do we got here? Giacomo Ravioli. What a name. Wow, that might be my new favorite name that's ever walked through the chat here. Says, was going to sell silver, but the dealers want a deal, and I might as well practice discipline and hold. Bartering might be an option if someone knows the value of silver. Yeah, that's true, but like, I really think that if silver goes up, Bitcoin's going to go up 10x or 100x from there. So I have been selling my silver slowly, and I'm almost out of silver now, but I'd much rather hold Bitcoin. Giacomo. Is that how you say it, Giacomo? That sounds right. What a name. My Path to Fire, good morning, my friend. Said S&P is a scam. Companies are not worth the monetary premium. 100%. All you have to do is look at, what do they call it? I don't even know what it's called. My brain's blanking here. But if you look at the premium that people are paying on stocks based on like their earnings, it is insane. What's it called? Like you measure with like 30. Most companies are like between 25 to 40 right now. What's the word I'm looking for here, chat? Doesn't really matter, but yeah, extremely overvalued. PE, that's right. Thank you, Julius. PE ratio. A lot of companies are like 30, 40, which means that they're basically entire valuations based on future expectations, not what they're doing now or not what they've done, but like entirely based on future expectations. And because there's nowhere else for that money to go, it flows into the bigger companies, like the Magnificent Seven. And so their PE ratios are so out of whack. I think Bitcoin's is like 5 or 6, and the lower the better. And a lot of companies out there are like 30, 40, like laughable. In other words, it would take you like 40 years, I think, to get your original investment back. It's nuts. But nobody really understands this. Everybody just has everything so automated. They have financial advisors. Nobody stops and looks at like, what am I investing in here? What is this? Am I ever going to get this money back? Am I going to be able to just outpace inflation? Anyways, there we go. Look at this. We got Plunger says that is correct. Guacamole. How did I say it now? Now I'm confusing myself. Guacamole. I think it's guacamole. Is James in Italian? What a name. What a name. Okay, let's get into this. Chad says, ravioli, if the internet or grid were to go down for long term, it is more likely that people exchange silver for goods and services or operate on a barter and credit until system or grid is restored. I think that if the grid ever goes down and we don't know when it's coming back on, the things you're going to want are food, water, and ammunition. Bitcoin will be, I mean, you still want Bitcoin because the nice thing about that is when the grid comes back on, you're going to have the exact same amount of Bitcoin. Gold's going to be irrelevant. Like imagine the power's down and people are starving and looting, and they come to your house and they're like, could I trade you my gold ounce for some of your food and water, please? Nobody's taking that offer. Nobody. Especially when you don't know when it's coming back on. Nobody's taking that. Everybody loves to play these fantasy games of like gold and silver being worth something if the power ever goes out. Bitcoin would be better because when it comes back, first of all, nobody's going to take your gold or silver or anything unless you have food, water, or guns. So it's okay. It's not going to be used, but why not just hold Bitcoin where it's actually going to go up 60% a year? And when the power comes back on, you still have your Bitcoin. You wouldn't have your stocks probably. You wouldn't have the money in your bank account, but you would have your Bitcoin. Bodhi says, true, companies can fail, but if going self-custody with self-directed multi-sig like SuperBacked, you take ultimate responsibility with your sovereignty. Yes, that's a great way to put it. Great way to put it, Bodhi. All right, we got Nick. We got Save Seattle. We got intriguing thing about Unchained is I could convert a traditional retire account into actual Bitcoin. That is true. That is a benefit that SuperBacked cannot offer. What I would tell you to do with SuperBacked, just sell your shares, sell your retirement, cash it out, pay the fees, buy Bitcoin, hold it with SuperBacked. But you're right. It's an easier way. It's more convenient. It's less responsibility. Okay, let's see what Dale says here. Manitoba Bitcoin meetup had record attendance, over 30 people despite a minus 25-degree evening. Manitoba Bitcoin community is growing fast. Wow, that's awesome, Dale. That made my morning here. I love seeing that. Thanks for sharing that. Our favorite Captain Codeman, SuperBacked hater. SuperBacked isn't multi-sig. I never said it was. Never said it was. It definitely can fit your multi-sig. If you have a multi-sig, you could have a SuperBacked wallet or a text box for each one. It's very flexible. All right, what do we got here? Go Perin. Hello, I have a problem. I made a withdrawal from Strike to Jade, but I think I didn't validate the QR code. I have a blue wallet and a green wallet. Just watch both. On blue wallet, the sats are there. Sorry, I'm not sure what you mean there. Not sure what you're saying. SuperBacked is a scam. How could it possibly be a scam? Save Seattle. I don't know if this is a bot or just somebody who likes talking to himself. Trump uses CASA. Trust Trump. Okay. I don't want to say anything mean here, so I'll refrain. Guacamo says, I got into Bitcoin with Coinbase. Anyone have a better choice? Is Robinhood even worth it? I mean, Coinbase is probably I shouldn't say the worst thing you can be using, but I mean, if you're in the US, Guacamo, where are you? It really depends on where you are too. Yeah, I agree with this. If you're in the US, Bitcoin, Well, River, or Strike. And Sunshine says CASA has Ethereum support, so I don't support them. Good call. Good call. Speaking of that, Guacamo, if you want to get onto Bitcoin Well, get some free sats. There you go. I think Bitcoin Well is the best Bitcoin platform in North America. I actually made a little video for them yesterday. I'm not sponsored by Bitcoin Well, by the way. I just love their platform. I love their service. I love their team there. And I use them myself. And so I have the great thing about Bitcoin Well. Let me take this actually, Yeah, let me take, where are we here? Hold on. The great thing about Bitcoin Well to me, and I filmed a little ad for my website or whatever I have with Bitcoin Well, but I said the first reason I love Bitcoin Well is because they're on Team Bitcoin. If you compare that to some of the other exchanges, especially here in Canada, I would say that some of the exchanges are more like Team Regulator, Team Government. But Bitcoin Well is Team Bitcoin. They've been around for like 10 years now. They have a very good reputation and they're easy to trust. But the cool thing is that I don't have to trust Bitcoin Well, right? Because I send them dollars, they send me Bitcoin. They don't hold any Bitcoin. They don't hold my Bitcoin. They don't hold your Bitcoin. They don't hold any Bitcoin except the ones on their treasury. But so that's number one. Number two is the fees. They have the lowest fees I've seen. It's like 1.2% spread. They're very transparent, very simple, and the lowest fees I've seen. And the third one is the interface. Especially here in Canada, they have features that nobody else has. Honestly, check them out. And in the US too, they have some really good features. They got Lightning withdrawals. They got recurring buys to Lightning. And it's just very easy to navigate, very easy to use when I'm sending people there. I feel very confident that they can figure it out. So that's Bitcoin Well. And actually on that note, let's give away some Bitcoin from our friends at Bitcoin Well. We're going to do a couple tosses today because I missed the last couple shows for Bitcoin Well. So I'll give you about 30 seconds here to get your Lightning wallets opened up, point it at the screen, and somebody's going to win some free biddy today. Who's it going to be? Who's it going to be? Oh, this website looks a little bit different now. Maybe I'll swap. They changed the website a little bit. Anyways, let's take our usual route here. Okay, everybody ready to go? That was about 30 seconds, I'd say. So get your phones out, get your Lightning wallets open, press send, and somebody's going to win some Bitcoin here. But first, let's see if we have any unclaimed sats. And if there are, don't claim them on me. You bastards. No, none. Okay, ready, set, go. $210 sats for some lucky person out there. 210 sats for free today that somebody will be working for a month to earn in a decade from now. Maybe not a month, maybe a day though, for sure. So that's the first one, and we're going to do back to back here because I missed a couple shows here. So these sats are courtesy of Bitcoin Well and of Bitcoin Journey. Because again, Bitcoin Well doesn't pay me anything. These sats are strictly for the community here. Support the show, support Bitcoin and Bitcoiners. So 210 sats there. Again, that's it for today. Hopefully those have been claimed. So again, that is Bitcoin Well. You can get yourself some more free tosses into the well. You get 5, I think, using this link right there. bitcoinwell.com/Jor. Okay, how do I block? I'm going to put Save Seattle here in a little timeout like he's a child. There you go. Bye-bye. Too much bullshit. I can deal with a little bit of bullshit, but when you're just talking nonsense, I got comments to get through here. So take a hike. Speaking of taking a hike, I have a brand new segment here on the show, and I know there's a couple people, Jerry in particular, is going to love this new segment. Jerry from Jerry Loves Freedom, also one of the Bitcoin Amigos. This new segment is called Dipshit of the Day. So I'm going to look through my YouTube. I'm going to try to do this every day, but I doubt I will. But anyways, I'm going to try to do this every day. And I'm going to show, I don't know if I can make that bigger or not. If I can find a way to make that bigger, I will. But for now, we're going to do our first ever dipshit of the day. Okay, I'll bring it up here. Screw it. So for some reason, I don't know why this is, but actually, you know what? I'm not going to do it because it's too small anyways. So I don't know what it is, but every time I talk about the Tangem wallet, like there's like Tangem freaks out there, it seems like. I don't understand. It's like people get so mad because I'm bashing Tangem wallet. I've never heard one good word about Tangem. I've heard 1,000 bad things about Tangem. And people still are like trying to defend this wallet. It doesn't make any sense to me. So anyways, yesterday I shared a video called Stop Using Tangem Wallet. And there were just a bunch of comments in there like, what do you know? You've never used it before. You're an idiot. All this stuff. It's like, okay. So the dipshit of the day today is Mongola is Lou 3555. And his comment was, you've never used Tangem and bashing it? First taste food and say something. All right. So I replied saying, why would I use a wallet with a track record like that? And Mongo Lazoo 3555 says, if you're not using it, do not make video. Let people make their own decision. You not person who knows everything. All right. So this is my reply. And I said, Mongola's 3555. How about this? I'll be the one who decides what's on my channel. If you want to start your own channel and tell everyone how great Tangem is, it's free to start a channel. You can decide what you put on that one. I do not claim to know everything. In fact, there's way more that I don't know than what I do know. But it is my responsibility to tell others about a bad product. And Tangem is a bad product. So shout out to Mongulas 3555. You are the winner of the first ever Dipshit of the day. Maybe I'll clip that. We'll see. Maybe I'll do I'll start clipping the dipshits of the day. It's just going to be stupid comments. That's what I'm going to highlight. How out of touch people are. Cleaner Machine says, I love the topic yesterday with Superbacked and Uncle Jim. Yeah, Uncle Jim's a pretty underrated aspect of the cold cards. Whoa. Make sure you check out Rajat's video yesterday if you want more information on what's going on here. There's way too many comments here for me to keep track of. Check that video out if you want more information on the Uncle Jim. Okay, let's keep going here. Knox Bill, good morning, my friend. I'll probably be skipping some people here, so sorry. Sorry about that, but I want to make sure we get to everybody, and we want to give everybody a chance to speak here. Ian says, that was me. Thought I strike out my name when I sent sats. Div. What does that mean? That was from Ian? What was that for? Oh, for your knowledge, probably? No, that was... Oh, yeah, that's right. Thank you, Ian. Gotcha. And again, if you want to help support the show here, if you want to send some sats to our favorite guy, Arnie, you can send it to that QR code, or you can just type it in there. Adopted son, which was automatically randomly generated for Arnie. Adopted son 98 at walletofsatoshi.com. All right, sorry, I got too much going on here, folks. Sunshine said, super blocked in caps. Yeah, he needed a time out there. He just needed to go sit in the corner for a while and think about things. I'm sorry, guys. There's way too many lots of good comments here today, but I'm having a hard time getting through all of them. And I do want to jump over to the second part of the show here. I haven't even talked about anything yet. Okay. What do I want to do here? Country Club Hillbilly says, I don't get the gold, silver hate in Bitcoin community. Both girls are pretty. Yeah, I mean, but why? Like, I'm not hating any gold or silver owners. I'm not. I'm just saying, like, what's the point of holding it? To me, if you have the conviction in Bitcoin and see where this thing is going over this next decade, you can sell your silver, you can buy Bitcoin with that, and you can come back in 5 or 10 years from now, and you can get 10x the amount of silver. So if you love silver and gold, this should be a no-brainer to you. If you want more silver and gold in the future, you should hold in a Bitcoin today and buy 10x in the future or more. Like, I'm not bashing it. There's a utility there. I get it. They're both scarce. They've worked really well, but they're not going to even compare to Bitcoin over this next decade. That's all I'm trying to say. That's all I'm trying to say. What limits how fast Bitcoin rises? I would say adoption. The more people who can understand monetary system and have an open mind, the faster we can get to Bitcoin adoption. All right. Where are we here? Where are we? Sorry, man. I don't want to consult Jade. The sats are not their solution to this problem. Thanks. I mean, don't expect to get any solid advice on a free Bitcoin channel. I do what I can, but I'm not going to take a whole bunch of time to specifically cater to your problem here. That's if you want to set something up, or you can find somebody online to help you with that. But it's probably going to cost you money. I mean, nothing in life is free. Anytime you're getting value from somebody else, you should give them value in return. That's how the world works. Checking out Bitcoin well as we speak, as we chill. Yeah, okay, gotcha. Captain Coban says, looking at something critically doesn't mean you're a hater. Don't trust, verify means exploring risks and drawbacks. Agreed. But you're just kind of making blanket statements here without really any backing to it, which kind of annoys me. So again, if you want to have an actual conversation, if you want to come on the show and talk about it, I'm more than fine to set that up. But I'm not going to play cat and mouse in the chat here with just blanket statements about things that you think are correct. Getting spicy in here. The show is pretty spicy. That's why, you got to have a little bit of drama in life. Jan says, what's your opinion on Fold app? I don't have one. I've never used it myself. They don't have it in Canada here. ShakePay, I love. I use it every day. I don't use it to buy Bitcoin, but I use it to earn free sats and pay for things and earn sats back, which very similar to the Fold app. But I've heard great things. I've heard some bad things. You kind of have to do your own research into it. And yeah, try it out. Not going to hurt you. Okay, we got a fad zap here, folks. Fad zap alert. We got 8,888 sats. To Arnie from your buddy Fredster. That's so nice. 8,888 sats. That's got to be my favorite zap. You want to make my day when you can tell I'm mad at people or frustrated. 8,888 sats and mention Arnie in it. That's how you make my day. Thank you, Fred. Very much appreciate that. Save Seattle was banned and their comments were removed. I didn't think I banned them. I thought I just put them in a timeout. But anyways, I'm sure they got 10 other trolls. Usually have about 5 or 6 different YouTube accounts. So I'm sure he's here already back in the chats bashing. There we go. Save Seattle. How did I know that was going to happen? Oh, man, that's so funny. So funny. Yeah, Dipshit of the Day, I think, is going to become a big thing on this channel. Don't feed the trolls. I know I'm not. I'm trying not to. But I'm not going to put like really stupid comments. I'm going to put like people who deserve to be called a dipshit. That's it. So people can't like try to say something stupid to be the dipshit of the day. Like if I really believe that they are a dipshit and they're the biggest one of the day, then they're going to be on the show. So be aware. Be aware of that. Aileen says, what's your opinion on Cash App? You can get paid in Bitcoin. Yeah, there's a lot of services that offer that. Bitcoin Well in Canada, you can actually get your paycheck directly deposited, I think. And you can also pay your bills. So you can completely remove yourself from the old system, kind of at your own pace, but Bitcoin Well facilitates that. All right, what do we got here? M. Vincent. How much over 1 Bitcoin will someone in the future need to have offset the taxes and fees to have the value of 1 Bitcoin? 1 to 1.5 Bitcoin. No, don't. 0. 1 to 1. 1 to 1. For 2 reasons. Number one, I don't think there's going to be any capital gains on Bitcoin by that time. And number 2, if you do things properly, you look at this like Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. He did this with real estate. He wasn't always buying and selling his houses and paying a bunch of taxes on that. He just had his assets, hard assets. Well, I mean, before Bitcoin, real estate was one of the hardest assets. He'd go to the bank and say, look, I have this collateral. I want more money. I'm going to buy more. So that's what you do there. You use the Rich Dad, Poor Dad strategy within Bitcoin. You never have to sell it. You never pay any taxes, and you can live off of that. All right. Well, thank you, Guacamo. Says 88 Sats Radio. Really appreciate your channel. I've gained more knowledge from this and the chat. The utmost radness from everyone here. Yeah, we got a pretty special thing here. I'm not going to lie to you folks within the chat, the channel, and especially the Living in the Future community. That's where it's at. That's where you want to be. Living in the future. All right. Okay, let's keep going here. We're almost at the bottom here. Sean says, what's the fastest Bitcoin has ever risen over a day? I don't know. I think at $10,000 per Bitcoin, I think a couple of months ago, maybe. I think that was the fastest, maybe a month ago now. All right, we got some chatter back and forth. I've caught up. Whew. That was tough, but we did it through all sorts of adversity there. And Obi Coe Smith, hi from Boston. Hello. Thanks for being here, Obi. I think that's Obi. Yeah. All right. Let me, okay, we're going to do this for about another, I don't know. We're going to move over to Zapstream. So if you want to be proactive here and you want to watch the full show today, move over to the Zapstream whenever you can. And while you're there, send a little zap. What am I doing here? Talk about a few things, and then we're going to go there for the second part of the show. I did not set up my Patreon today, so there's going to be some free stuff today. That's okay. That's okay. All right. First thing I want to make everybody aware of here, this is a big one. We're not going to watch any of it, but I do want to make you, and that is the Robert Breedlove / Jack Cruz series that's available. I think this was part 2. Yes, part 2. So you got Jack Cruz, one of the community's favorite guys here. Somebody just kind of new into my life, but I've made some adjustments based on his practices and his suggestions. So Jack Cruz, Robert Breedlove, they discuss the mystery of Satoshi, which I might listen to, but definitely I'm going to look at the Bitcoin, the control of money, the blue light, the fluoride, the LSD, and more. How can we protect ourselves? So this was 2 hours. I think part 1 was 3 hours. This is going to be a long series, and I highly suggest you check it out. If you never heard of Jack Cruz before, let this be your introduction to him. Shout out to Daniel and a few others in the chat here who introduced me to him. So that's the first one I wanted to mention was Dr. Jack Cruz and Breedlove. Part 2 is out now. What else do we have here? Okay, this is the one we're going to watch on the second part of the show today. So again, start moving over to Zapstream. Very easy to do. All you have to do is just go to your browser, put in zap.stream, and it'll show up there right away. This one kind of made me laugh. I don't know why or or anything, but I don't know. Something here. There's something here. So Bitcoin News says just in Hong Kong-based Mingxing Group, a plastering and bricklaying works company, purchases 500 Bitcoin. What? I mean, I knew there was a lot of money in bricklaying. I think that's one of like the most scarcest skills and talents that exist out there. But man, 500 Bitcoin? What the hell? Like, if you understand Bitcoin, if you understand where this is going, like this 500 Bitcoin is going to be absolutely massive in the future. So what happens with a company like this? They're bricklayers today. What about in a decade from now? They hold on to this 500 Bitcoin. Who the hell knows? They're going to be bigger than, I'd say, 95% of the banks in the world. They're going to have more wealth and more capital than 95% of the banks in the world. A bricklaying company. I don't get it. I don't understand the whole thing here, but I absolutely love it. So they got an average price of 94,000 US per Bitcoin, worth approximately $47 million. Mingxing Group, bricklaying. Wow. Wow. Jason, what? Jason, really? Catch the sunrise every day. How do you do that? I want to know. Shoot me a message after. I started doing the red light thing. Actually, an amazing human being here from the the community sent me a red light that I do every morning now for about 10 minutes. And I actually kind of mirror it to like a sunrise. I kind of slowly put it down on my eyes, just like the sun was rising. It'd kind of get brighter and brighter. And then I kind of faded away. I know this is crazy to do on the internet, but I kind of faded away just like a sunset would be. So for the first couple of days, it was like, bang, red light, sun's out. And then bang, pitch dark in the room. So I kind of started mirroring like sunrises and sunsets kind of in about 10 minutes there. So big shout out to, what can I call them? Roger. I'll call them Roger for sending me that very nice gesture. They said that they didn't know how to send zaps and they wanted to support the channel. So they sent me a little red light thing to use every morning. But Jason, yeah, let me know how you watch the sunrise every morning. If I tried to watch the sunrise here, I'd probably freeze to death. And Jason, I don't think the weather's much different where you are. Otis, another one of my favorite names in here, Otis Hare Jr. Love that. Is it cool if I show you out in my video? Of course, man. Of course. Of course. And if you ever want to have me on your video too, I mean, I don't know if you do or not, but I would be more than happy to. Doing a couple more interviews this week. I think it's important. It helps grow the channel and gets in front of more people. So we got a couple more things here. Zapstream, it looks like somebody sent some. Wood Butcher, 420 sats, saying zapping some peace and love. Thank you, Wood Butcher. And the Grinder, zapped 121 sats. Good morning, sovereigns, future sovereigns. And Plunger says, let the races begin. You know it's for real when bricklaying companies start buying Bitcoin. You can't deny that. You can't deny that. Okay, that's what we just covered. And we got one more? No. Okay, so I've actually, yeah, I'm going to talk about this because this is what I named the show today. So I think we definitely have to get to that. Daniel says, hello, I like the collaboration with Rajat. Well, thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed that. There's going to be plenty more where that came from. I think that's the expression to use. Okay, so let's talk about this. Prepare yourself to be wealthy. I really want people to take this seriously because it's to anybody who's paying attention right now, it's extremely obvious what's coming here. We just talked about a bricklaying company who bought 500 Bitcoin, $50 million worth. In 7 days from now or less, President Trump, the first ever Bitcoin or crypto president, is going to take office. We know what's coming here. And so instead of focusing your time and energy of checking the price or, watching hype videos to get you excited about Bitcoin, you should really be taking this time and preparing yourself for what's coming, preparing yourself to be wealthy. And I mean that in two ways. Number one is, mentally get ready for it because it is going to be such a huge shift for people. Everybody who owns Bitcoin, especially if you didn't have a whole lot. If you're like the average Bitcoiner, like myself and like most people watching the show in the chat, it's going to be a major shift for you going for somebody who didn't have a whole lot of wealth to being more wealthy than you know what to do with. Like you have to mentally prepare for that, honestly. But you also have to take your stuff seriously in terms of like your security setup. You should be thinking about this every single day. You should be thinking about, is my Bitcoin being held in the best way possible? And if it's not, you have to take actionable steps to improve that. It's always going to be evolving. You're never going to buy Bitcoin, put it into cold storage and not think about it for 20 years. You have to be thinking about this stuff almost every day. And so you have to be securing it. And you also have to think about what happens if you died. What happens if you got hit by a bus tomorrow? Honestly, think about that. What would happen? Ask yourself that right now. If you got hit by a bus or got in a car accident tomorrow, what would happen to your Bitcoin? Does anybody in your family know you have it? Does anybody in your family know how to restore it? Would it go into the courts, the probate system, where it would all become public information? Like, I know it's fun to just look at numbers on our screen, but we're holding something very serious here. And if you're not ready for what's coming, you're going to be absolutely fucking wiped out in many different ways. So again, instead of focusing on the price, instead of getting excited and watching all these hype videos, You have to be taking actionable steps every single day in your life to get ready for what's coming here, to be ready for being extremely, or as British Huddle says, fabulously wealthy, because it's coming. So you have to protect your Bitcoin, you have to take it seriously, and you have to prepare for that day when it comes. So there's plenty of resources online. You could spend days learning how to best protect your Bitcoin. But the problem is everybody has a different agenda there. Everybody has a different agenda. So you can't trust me. You can't trust Rajat, let's say. You can't trust anybody. You have to get the information. You have to verify it for yourself. And for whatever that makes the most sense for your personal setup, your personal situation. There's no right answer for everybody. But what I would suggest is taking some time, watching some videos, set up a call with somebody who's into this kind of stuff, and just get their opinion on things. Say, here's my security setup. Like, don't get too personal. Don't dox yourself or anything. Don't tell anybody how much Bitcoin you have or where it is. But like, give a basic overview. Like, this is what I have. Are there any ways I can improve it? And then once you have some ideas, hopefully that person will give you some ideas. But then take steps and just take it very slow. You don't have to, should be no fear. There should be no panic, just very slow, methodical steps to improve your security setup and prepare for the massive wealth that is coming your way. Whether you like it or not, it's coming. If you're holding Bitcoin right now, in, I would say, a wide ranging amount of Bitcoin, from 1 million sats to 500 Bitcoin, you have massive wealth coming your way, and your life is going to be completely different. And you have to start thinking like a rich person and preparing your own self for that. Because I know personally, like somebody who went through school, somebody who was just kind of like in the hamster wheel, had some retirement, had some debt, had a few assets. I didn't take this stuff seriously at all because, if something happened to me, my life insurance would probably pay off my debt. There wouldn't be a whole lot kicking around. So who the hell cares? I didn't have anything significant. But I do now. And so do you. If you're watching the show today, you have something that's significant and you have to take it seriously. So just take action, be aware of it, prepare yourself mentally and physically. And the one thing I would say, this is going to be my offer to you, anybody who's kind of made it this far in the show today, is if you do want a second opinion, one thing I've started offering, and I kind of mentioned this on Rajat's channel yesterday too, but just reach out, set up like a 15-minute call with me. I don't charge anything. It's not free, but if I help you in any way, you can send me some value back. It's a value for value kind of proposition there. If you just got a couple questions, you want a second opinion, you want some good, a little bit of direction in terms of where to go, just set up a call. If it's 10, 15, 20 minutes, you can send me whatever it is worth or zero. It's up to you. So that's kind of my offer to you, is to get yourself ready for what's coming here. The window is going to be short in terms of how long we have to prepare for this. But again, don't fear, don't do this with any sort of urgency or panic, but just take slow and methodical steps to get ready for this. That's what I wanted to say. And there's a couple of videos. This one kind of just popped up on my page yesterday, and I thought I'd share it. We're not going to watch it or anything, but I mean, how applicable is this? I don't know if they're targeting Bitcoiners or something, but it says 15 things to do if you get rich all of a sudden. And the advice it's okay. Like it's not specifically tailored to Bitcoin. It has nothing to do with your security setup or your inheritance stuff. But these are the things that you do need to be talking about. It's the same kind of thing if you came into a bunch of money, what's going to happen here within Bitcoin. So you do have to worry about your security. You do have to worry about your inheritance stuff. You do have to worry about a will and maybe looking at setting up a trust for yourself. I didn't know how easy it was myself to set up a trust and the whole behind the scenes thing, what they lie to you there. I was kind of always under the opinion that if I wanted to do something like this, I had to work with a lawyer, pay a bunch of money. But in reality, just like a lot of things that they lied to us about, you can create a trust very easily yourself. So all this is kind of included with the super backed package itself in terms of security, inheritance, and like the trust aspect to it. It's all done very slow, very methodically. But these are the things that you have to be thinking about now if you hold Bitcoin. So that's that. Might be an opportunity to trade some ammo for Bitcoin, stash some bullets, if anything. Yep, I agree with that. You are much better off holding ammo than gold, in my opinion. It's probably an unpopular opinion, but that's if you're like preparing for doomsday and the power to go out, ammo is much better than gold. Mr. Yulfang, good morning, my friend. Best way to secure your physical device? That's a great question. And this is maybe where we'll end it today. This is something you have to be aware of, is like, you should have your physical device, and that could be anything. That could be your phone. This is a signing device. If you have a wallet on your phone, this is a signing device. If you have a laptop with like Sparrow on it, that's your signing device. Or if you have one of these guys, a Game Boy, this is your signing device. So you secure this as best you can. You keep it in a different spot from your 12 words if you have it on paper or steel. And you keep them in separate places, because if you have this is the kind of stuff we cover in the SUBSTACK thing. But if you have your private key in the same place as this, that totally defeats the purpose of this. Like, understand that, because this is secure. This is encrypted. This has a secure element in it, and it requires a PIN. If you want to send any Bitcoin, you have to sign the transaction with this. But if you have your 12 words right underneath there or somewhere in your house, they can just bypass this. Your 12 or 24 words isn't encrypted or anything. There's no security there. If it's on paper, steel, whatever. So again, don't panic. I don't mean to create fear here. If you have it on a nice piece of paper in your safe, you're good. If you have it in a chunk of steel in your house, you're good. You're way better than 99.9% of people. But you do want to work towards the best possible setup over time. And so if you do have a significant amount of Bitcoin and you're fairly comfortable with your security setup, and you know how to kind of move between and you're familiar with it, then yes, encryption is definitely the play. So there's no best way to secure it. You just have to understand the implications of your device, your signing device, whether that's a phone, laptop, or hardware device, and your recovery phrase. And you have to keep those separate, because if you keep them in the same place, then your hardware device is meaningless. And don't worry, I spent years with my steel plate right underneath my cold card, which makes no fucking sense. But there's no school on Bitcoin, right? So how do you know? And that's why I'm, doing this stuff, because I would have killed for this information. And, I didn't learn the hard way, thankfully, but I did spend a lot of time with my setup like that. So shit could have went south. All right. That's it. I'm gonna, if it's on paper and you live in Cali, not so great. True. That's why you want to have if you do have it on paper, you want to have it on like a QR code encrypted, and you want to have in different spots, not all in one spot. You could send your QR code out to 10 people. They wouldn't know what's on it. They have no idea. They can't see what's in there. But if your house does burn down, you have your password, you have your QR code that you can retrieve, you have your Bitcoin. So that's the whole point of it here. All right, so I'm going to cut off YouTube here. What a good show today. Wow. I mean, I love these Q&A shows. It wasn't really designed to be one, but it turned into one. So speaking of that, tomorrow is Wednesday. And on Wednesdays, starting last week, starting tomorrow, or continuing tomorrow and into the future, we're just going to do private Q&A for members. So every Wednesday morning at the normal time I do my show, we're going to do a private Q&A for Bitcoin Journeyman from the YouTube channel and members of the Patreon. So if you want to check that out tomorrow. Otherwise, I'm not going to be doing shows on Wednesday on the YouTube channel. It's going to be specifically for members. So consider checking that out. And if you want to watch the second part of the show here, we got about, I'd say, half hour left, maybe less. The video is only about 10 minutes long, but I do want to talk about a couple of things. So just head over to Zapstream, zap.stream, or go to sats.gg, sats.gg, or you can watch it on nostr. So have a great day, everybody. Hey, Paul Hall. Paul coming in with the last minute super chat here. Thank you, Paul. Thank you for this one, and thank you for all the support for the amigos. We very much appreciate it, as I'm sure you know, but we can't say it enough. So thank you, Paul. Very much appreciated. Thank you, everybody else. And Arnie's going to come by as soon as I say goodbye here. So we're going to hop over to Zapstream, and we'll see everybody on Thursday, and the rest of you in about, well, it's not ending. So have a great Tuesday, everybody. Stay warm and stay sexy. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.